Hello and welcome to another video, and this one follows on from the last and we're going to take a deeper dive into some of the occluder types when you're adding occluders to or line of sight to your maps. So we're going to need a map, so let's pop this one up. We're going to unlock the map and then we're going to select our line of sight here, and we're going to make sure we've got the wall tool, and then we're going to select the line and make sure that we've got the correct layer selected. And we're just going to draw a simple wall here. Now, one of the things that's been debated for some time on the Fantasy Grounds forums and elsewhere is whether or not you draw your occluder right up against the edge of the wall or whether you draw it in a bit. If you draw it right up against the wall, well, let's demonstrate that. So we've got our line tool selected, so we're going to hold down Shift here and we're going to draw this line right up against the wall, and we're going to finish it there, and we'll draw another line right up against the wall on this side as well. If we get a token onto the map now, we go to our player view and turn on the line of sight and player preview and select this token. And you can see that the token can't actually see the wall. All we get to see is this dark line. So we don't know that there is a wall there. Well, we can have a guess that there is a wall there, but we don't see any detail. So this is why we would want to draw the line of sight back from the edge of the wall. However, even if we do draw the lines right up against the wall, we can go to this tool here, or this option here, which we didn't discuss in the last video, and this is the peak. So we mouse over this, it says peak through amount. It's set at 0, so there's no peak at the moment. But we can adjust this. So if we go into here and put in a value of 0.1, let's get rid of this 0.1. Oh, that's given us 1, 0.1. There we go. Now, if we go back to our player view now, we can see that we actually can see through the occluder. We know that the occluder is right on the wall here, but we are actually able to see through that occluder, and we can see beyond it, and we know now that there is a wall. We can see some detail there. If we change this value to 0.2, it'll become even more obvious. So you can use, even though you draw your lines right up against the wall, you can use the peak tool or the peak option to actually be able to see through the walls. And this works obviously for the other side of the wall as well. If we shift this token to here, then we can see that we're seeing through this wall, because this wall is drawn right up against the edge here, but we're able to see this part of it beyond it. So a value of about 0.1. I believe that this for every point it adds another 10% through. So we've got 50 pixels per 5 feet here. So this grid here is 50 pixels. So I believe that with 0.1, you're seeing something like 5 or 10% of the number of pixels through the wall. So if it's 50, you're seeing, I think it's 10%. So I think you're seeing like 5 pixels beyond the wall. So it's something like that. But a value of 0.1 or maybe 0.2 will be able to allow you to peek through walls. Now, of course, this is going to depend entirely how thick your walls are. If your walls are just single lines, then you're not going to need peek through, and you're going to be forced to draw your occluders right on the line anyway. But if the walls are thick like this, then you can either draw the occluders inside and outside the wall, or you can just draw a single line through the middle. So if we take off the peek through now, just turn that back to 0. If we go to our edit tool here and just remove all of this and go back to our line tool, and then we can select our layer, draw the line somewhere in the middle of the wall. Then it effectively gets to the same thing. Move our occluder here. We can see the wall quite plainly. The occluder is halfway through, and up here as well we can see the wall. So that's your two options, but just be aware of the peek through. It's quite a handy tool. Right, okay, so that's that subject. So let's move on to something else. Okay, so we're just going to get rid of all of this, and we're going to back into our wall tool. We're going to hold down shift, and we're going to draw this in the middle, and we're going to come straight through this door here. We can move our map using the middle mouse button, holding the middle mouse button, or we can use the arrow keys to move things around. Hold shift to give us a straight line. Finish that, and now we want to draw these two walls here, so we're going to actually start our wall a bit beyond this and draw it here. Finish that, and there, and finish that. Let's just switch off the line of sight player preview for the moment so we can see things. So the reason I've done this is because when I draw this line here or that line here, it's when it bisects the line going this way, it adds a point, and that means that that point is absolutely on the line. We can then go into here, select this point, and then select this point and delete them both. And that way we're absolutely sure that these 2 points are forming a proper intersection with the line that's going across. So when you're drawing lines like that for walls or for anything really, make sure that you draw the lines a little bit beyond so that you get a good intersection point. All right, now that we've got this drawn up here, we can turn our attention to this door. So let's select the door tool, and whenever you select it, you will see that this little option comes up here, trim interior occluders. Now this comes on by default. It's a toggle, so if we click on it, it will disappear, grey out, so we're no longer trimming interior occluders, and if it's on, then we are trimming interior occluders. And what this means is that when we select our rectangle here to draw our door, once we finish drawing the door, then any wall or anything that's inside the box that we draw is going to get trimmed. So we just need to hold down the left mouse button and drag our rectangle to the size that we want for the door. And then when we let go, the door gets drawn and the occluders in the middle, or the occluder in the middle, the bit of wall that was there has now been trimmed, and these 2 points are exactly on the line. So again, we're making an exact point where it's meeting properly, and there's no going to be any leakage from any pixels or anything like that you haven't. If you tried to do this manually, you would need to zoom in and make sure that you were absolutely on the line, and it would be very easy to miss that by just a pixel or two, and then your integrity of your wall or your door is lost. So if we move our first of all, let's go into play mode and move our token around here and switch the line of sight back on and the player preview. And the player can see that there is a door here. If we share the map and have a look at the player view, then the player can see that there is a door, and when the player mouses over this door, they get the option to click on it to open it, and then once they open it, they can see through the door. Without opening it, the movement is blocked, so if Bob tries to move through the door, they can't until they've opened it, and then they can move through the door, and they can shut it again behind them. And as we saw in the last video, the Dungeon Master has also got the option of locking the door here, so that when the player comes to try and open the door, it doesn't open because it's locked, and only once the Dungeon Master has uh, unlocked the door by holding down Shift and clicking on it, then the door will then be openable. So Shift click to lock, Shift click to unlock. So when drawing doors, I would highly recommend you deal with it in this method. Draw your wall straight through the door and then use the door along with the trim interior occluder to punch a hole in the wall and get rid of the bit in the middle. So let's move on again. Let's get rid of this bit here. We're just going to delete all that. Now we'll get rid of this bit that I didn't mean to draw. And then we're going to go back to our wall tool here. We're going to make sure that our correct layer is, and just draw this wall in here again. And then we're going to draw this one back in here as well. Go to our edit tool and get rid of this point. And then we can move our token around here. So let's have a look now at toggleable walls. So when we look at the toggleable wall, we can see that we do have the trim interior occluder tool here as well, but it's grayed out. Now we don't really want to be drawing a rectangle around here because that will make the door a bit more obvious. We just want a straight line. So the method I would suggest you use is we go back to our wall tool and our rectangle tool. We make sure that the trim interior occluders is lit up. It's not by default when we're drawing walls, so make sure that it's lit up. And then we're just going to draw a rectangle. Again, make sure our layer is selected. Draw a rectangle around where we want our illusionary wall to be, or our toggleable wall to be. We can then edit this by just double clicking on one of the points of this rectangle we've just drawn, and then press the delete key, and we've punched a hole in this wall. If we then go to our toggleable wall tool and select the line, and then just draw a line between these 2 points, and it should snap to the line, and double click to finish. And if we have a look at the player view now, this wall here looks absolutely solid. The player can't move through the wall as you would expect, so there's no point in the wall where the player can move through. There's no indication that there is a toggleable wall or a secret door, whatever you want to call it, in this area. If we go back to the DM view, when we mouse over this area, we can see that this area lights up, indicating that there's a secret door. Now there's no lock or unlock here because it's effectively locked by default. But if the DM clicks on this area, then it will open up the secret door or the toggleable wall, and the players are then free to be able to move through. So toggleable walls act in all respects like a normal wall. It blocks vision and it blocks movement until the player characters have found the means to be able to operate the secret door. Okay, so let's look at something else. We'll go into our edit tool again, and we'll get rid of this. We'll back to our wall, and we'll draw this back in again. Something like this. And then we're going to have a look at windows. Well, when we select the window type, we see that we have 2 options. We've got our trim interior occluder again, and we also have an is toggleable option. So the is toggleable means that if this is set, then the window can be opened and moved through, and if it's not set, then it blocks movement. Windows obviously don't block line of sight, but they can block movement, and you can have them either openable or not. So there's a couple of ways you can draw. You can just go into your rectangle here, and you can just draw your window like this. and you've got the is toggleable is on now. So you can see right away that when we draw this, the player can see through the window. If we look at the player's view, the player can see through the window. No, they can't. To reshare the map, I think, just for it to refresh. The player can see through the window, but they can't actually move through it. It's blocking the movement. But if we switch back to the Dungeon Master's view, we get this symbol here, which means we can open the window and the player can then move through the window. If we draw the window, if we come back into here and get rid of this window and redraw it with the is toggleable off, and we'll just do this. We can just do a line actually. Again, make sure I draw a line here. And we now have the is toggleable is now turned off, which means that when the Dungeon Master mouses over it, we don't get that symbol, so we can't open this window, and the player, although they can see through it, they can't move through it, and they are therefore prevented from doing so. And you can't even open this window. So this is maybe useful for something like iron bars or a portcullis or something like that, where you can see through, but you can't move through it. Now another thing that you can use windows for is like this fence here. Let's switch off the player preview and line of sight for the moment. We could maybe use the windows for this fence. Now the obviously depends on the description of the fence, how tall it is, and whether or not it's you can see through it. So let's pretend this is a kind of slatted fence, so you can actually see through it, and perhaps it's also climbable. So we can use the window tool for this. We're going to make it as toggleable. We don't need the trim interior occluders on for this, but we can just leave it. And what we're just going to do is take our line tool and we're going to draw individual lines along each section of the fence like this. And when we get our token over there, switch on our line of sight and the player preview, you can see that this isn't the player's view isn't being, we could go to the player's view and it'll maybe see it clearer. The player's line of sight isn't being blocked by these windows here. And because we've made this is toggleable, then they're available to toggle and the player can open that and climb through it. So this could represent them being able to climb over the fence by just toggling it, and then they can move through the fence. So you can use windows for other things other than just windows. Now the reason why I suggested that you do it with the individual things is that if we go and look at this, if we make this a single line, again, check out our, if we make this a single line like this, then on the DM view, you get something like this. So it's a bigger area and it can sort of get in the way of movement and clicking on pins and stuff like that. So I would suggest that you do it with the sort of individuals. Okay, I think that's long enough for this video, so we'll continue looking at some more occluder types in the next one. So thanks for watching. Cheers for now.